Now for what's tipping the scales, we're going to be watching a defendant representing himself in a brand new trial starting this morning. But this pro se defendant won't be making his case to a jury. Instead, he'll be making it to a judge. It's called a bench trial. Quinton Nixon is charged with the murder of 34-year-old Toni Westover. She's the victim on the right side of your screen. She was killed back in July of 2022. She was 34 years old, a mother and a medical assistant. She was shot and killed in her home in Akron, Ohio, and the daughter she leaves behind was 7 years old at the time of her death.
She loved her daughter. She loved her family. She was a beautiful person inside and out.
So let's talk about how will the fact that this guy is going pro se to trial and the fact that he has chosen to go before a judge rather than a jury, will either of those things tip the scales of justice? Let's bring back in attorney Melba Pearson and retired FBI special agent Jennifer Coffindeffer. Okay, so let's start with him being pro se and what we think that may do. Melba, would you start us off, please?
Yes, absolutely. So, of course, the old adage is someone who represents themselves has a fool for a client. As we've seen watching many a court TV trial, very rarely do pro se trials end with a not guilty verdict, for the simple reason that, of course, someone who is a pro se defendant generally doesn't know the rules of evidence, doesn't really know how to maneuver within the courtroom, doesn't know how to call and question witnesses. So they're kind of, feeling in the dark, and the judge can't help them, right? They can have standby counsel to maybe assist them if they're, struggling, or if they decide in the middle of the trial, you know what, uncle, I give up, I can't do this. They can then turn to standby counsel who would then take on the trial from there. But I think the fact that this is going to be a bench trial actually is going to be a better scenario, because I feel it'll be a little bit less of a circus. Because again, since you have the jury there, there's that performative aspect where, the defendant, all the parties may feel to kind of up their game to really, keep the jurors' attention and,
Right.
again, try to persuade them. So,
Right.
all those things will weigh in, but it'll be less chaotic.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes, Melba. And Jen Coffindeffer, would you kind of take it from there? Do you think this judge could be maybe relieved that she's not going to, yes, it is a female judge, that she's not going to have to do this before a jury? Do you think this will make it a little easier to manage?
Oh, yes, probably, perhaps. I love Melba's points as always, but I tell you what, there's nothing worse in terms of this recipe for a defendant. First, you're pro se, and then second, it's a bench trial. I mean, this defendant seems to be making all the wrong decisions, as he did even when he was arrested, decided to hide in the attic, I believe it was, and put up a somewhat of a fight. It just makes somebody look guilty. So he's made a lot of very poor decisions, and I think it's probably going to be a very short trial.
Yes, I couldn't agree with you more. I know Melba agrees as well. I see her nodding. Yes, and I like what you said there about, a recipe for, legal disaster for him, right. I mean, at least you can have the chance of maybe one person feeling a little confused or feeling some kind of way if you pick a jury, but I'm sure that judge is very relieved. This is going to start up at 9, ladies, so we're going to take a break. Big thanks to you both for your expertise and your time. Jen Coffindeffer, check out her new show, Break the Case. It is fantastic. And attorney Melba Pearson, we love having you both on. Thank you for everything this morning.